Hello, hello, hello. I am Zakiya Monique, Master Relationship Strategist, transformational speaker, and best-selling author of Killer Connections. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit more about aura. I did a video a few years back, and I talked about how your aura can make an enemy out of your energy. I explained how us women look good, cook good, smell good, keep a clean place, and take care of our responsibilities from the bedroom to the boardroom, right? But we still can't seem to get a man or keep a man. And oftentimes it's because our aura says taken. And I just shared with you 5 reasons that our aura may still say taken. And today I want to talk to you about how we can shift our aura from taken to single. Okay. And one of the things that I explained, and one of the things I loved about the video from TikTok, and if you're not on TikTok, if you are on TikTok, you can go to as Zakiya Monique Speaks and see what I'm talking about. But one of the things that I loved is that I gave a example, and I said that most of the time, if our aura says taken and a man still deals with us or talks to us, then that's really not a man of great quality or value. And that's because it's the equivalent of a man talking to you when you have a wedding ring on. Okay. A man that sees a wedding ring is not going to deal with you if he's a man of integrity. Okay. And it's the same thing as a taken aura. When your aura says taken, a man of integrity is like, it's another man's woman. Okay. And he's like, nope, I'm going to protect myself. I can't compete with that. I'm not going to touch that. Many of you said, okay, well, then this is me. I got it together and I don't know why I can't, get somebody or keep somebody. Many of you have said, what do I do to change my aura? So I got you. I did this video especially for you, especially for my TikTok crowd, because many of you said, what's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer? Okay. Now, let me say that the answer typically is the same as most of my answers on TikTok. Healing. Okay. Healing starts with 2 things: cutting ties and breaking curses. It's just different aspects depending on the problem. Okay. So this is no different. All right. But let's talk about a few steps that can get you going in the right direction. All right. And again, if you haven't hit that notification bell and if you haven't hit that subscribe button or like or something, I need you to hit something. Okay. Now, number 1, let's talk about the first step. You must cut off access. No way around it. And see, this is part of the problem is we want to figure out a way that we can still be connected, but disconnected. Still be connected, but separate. That stuff don't go together. Okay. Whether it is body, soul, phone, text, friends, family. Listen, sometimes you have to cut some people and things off for a time. Okay. Until you're healthy enough to keep from going backwards. You got to cut it off. Okay, you got to cut off all the reports and the people who come and report back to you about what he's doing and all that. You got to cut that stuff off because it's going to keep you tied to it. See, we tend to think as long as we stop sleeping with the person, we all good. Okay, we tend to think, oh, I stopped sleeping with him, so we straight. No, you're not straight. Okay, you're not straight. At the end of the day, you have got to stop access, period. If people love you, they will understand. Okay. If they don't, you might need to cut them off too. Because anybody that's keeping me tied to something that's draining me can't care nothing about me. So don't come back and give me no report about what he's doing in his life. I'm trying to move on. I had people that was coming back giving me full-fledged reports, keeping me connected to the situation. And I had to finally become strong enough to say, don't come tell me nothing else. Even though my flesh was like, we do want to hear it. We want to know that he's not doing that great without you because you were the best thing that ever happened to him. And one day he might see that. No, I don't want to be connected to that. I don't want to be connected to that. I don't care what he see. I don't want to be connected to it. And if you can't stop bringing me the news, then I will cut your access to. But it takes strength for that. And it don't mean you got to cut them off forever. But you got to cut them off until you're strong enough. Okay? Let me tell you something. Relationships And breaking off relationships will reveal things in people that you never thought was in them, because there are some people that have a vested interest in you remaining miserable, because they are too. And if you level up, they're going to be left being a punching bag. If you level up, they're going to be left being a welcome mat. If you level up, they're going to left being the side chick that thinks she the main chick. If you level up, they're going to be left being the settler. And so essentially, even though they call themselves loving you, they don't want you to level up, because then, they're going to be by themselves. They're going to be the only one that's playing a fool. And I'm not calling them a fool, but they're going to be the only one left in misery. Okay? And so you got to be careful, because some people don't want you to level up in life. Okay? You have got to cut ties with everything and anyone that is keeping you tied to the situation that is draining you. You can't be sitting up at his family functions when you're weak. You can't be trying to be his friend when you are weak. You can't withstand the endless reports of where he is and what he's doing and who he's doing it with when you're weak. You have to cut it. And anybody who loves you will understand, because they want you to be better. If not, once again, you might need to cut them too. And oftentimes when we're going through times of transition like that, we do end up cutting a lot of people. We do. Okay, so number one, you have got to cut the access. You got to cut it, because there's no way that you can cut a soul tie if you still linking souls with a person. Your soul is your mind, will, and your emotions. If you still laying and playing with them, your emotions gonna be connected. If you still laying and playing with them, your mind is gonna be connected. As much as you swear, no, we just hook up every now and then he going about his way. Yeah, but he going about his way, but he take a part of you with him. And he keep that dough cracked. And you do too. You keep it cracked too, because you really want him to come over. So you got to cut ties with not just him, but anybody that's keeping you connected to him. And if they love you, they'll understand. Number two, break the curses. Here's where we have a problem. Now, it's hard enough to cut ties, especially the longer you've been together. Okay, it's tough to cut ties, because it's like, shoot, I love this person. I thought we'd be together. I told you in the last video, we still be stuck on shoulds and all that type of stuff. I thought we would be together. Okay, all right, we know. But when it gets to the time to break the curses, it gets tough. And let me tell you why. Because you got to start answering questions like this. What caused you to remain in a relationship that wasn't serving you well? See, one of the things that really, gets me on TikTok is people will get on my posts and complain about the relationships that they're in, and they're not married. So the $1 million question is, why are you still there? Because you don't have to be in a relationship. You don't have to be in that relationship. We act like our whole identity is based on this relationship. And so most people come to me. When they come to me, they want to know, how can I make him act right? Dear, if he's not acting right on his own, move on. But we act like that's just foreign. Like, we can't do that though. Well, no, I'm not leaving. Well, then stop complaining. What made you stay? What made you continue to sit at a table where love was no longer being served? I mean, it wasn't even on the menu. It wasn't even a special. It wasn't even on a certain day you can get it. Like, is this no longer being served? He has told you and shown you consistently that he don't want you. He don't want it. He don't want nothing. But you continue to sit there. You have got to search in you. The way that you break curses is you got to search in you. What is it that caused you to sit there? What caused you to remain in this relationship that wasn't serving you well? What allowed you to sit at the table way too long? Have you checked your self-love lately? What will make you crave someone who has repeatedly shown you that they don't value you and they're not willing to pay the cost? And please don't come and say, well, I'm a healer and he was a narcissist. Because that's our answer for everything. He's a narcissist and I'm a healer. And so I just keep attracting them. Listen, if you was a healer, somebody would keep getting healed. Okay, somebody get healed. You wouldn't keep getting hurt. I'm so amazed at the people who think that they're healers, and so that's why they keep getting these people that drag them through the mud. That's no. If you're a healer, you don't keep getting drugged through the mud. You don't keep getting beat down and hurt all the time. No. And if you were supposed to heal him, didn't nobody tell you to be with him. That's another video for another time when we mistake our assignment for our man and then end up getting drugged through the mud because we were never supposed to be with him. But that's another show, okay? That's another whole avenue. But we got to answer some of the hard questions. Why do you crave dysfunction? Why do you crave something that makes you miserable? Why do you sit there? Why did you sit there? Why did you sit there when you were the best thing that ever happened to him, but you know he wasn't the best thing that ever happened to you? These are some of the hard questions that you have to answer. And see, here's the thing. This is the step that makes us go backwards because it's hard. See, it's one thing to cut everybody off, but it's another thing to start searching deep inside. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why people go backwards. Because whatever you search for and you find, you got to fix it. See, it's easy to talk about somebody else's problems because after y'all finish talking, you get up and leave. But with this, you searching. And when you get the answer to these questions, you got to fix that. You got to fix it. See, I'm not just an intimate relationship coach because most of our searches are going to land us right in the midst of our childhood. It's going to land us right at our house. See, and I often say that we take our problems from our house to our house, from our childhood home to our adult home. All the insecurities, all the drama. If we don't heal from it, we take it right to our adult home. Okay? So I'm not just the intimate relationship coach. I take you back to the foundation and say, let's fix it. Because until you fix that, your rotten roots are going to generate or continue to generate rotten fruit. So you're going to continue to get what you don't want until you go back and fix the issue. But that search makes us run into things that we thought we buried. That search helps us run into things that, oh my goodness, our emotional growth is stunted by. It helps us run into things that the very thought of just pierces our soul. And we say, I'll be doggone if I go back there because I fought hard to forget that thing. But what you don't understand is what you bury alive will get up. And you didn't get through it. You just tried to get over it. And there are some things that you will never get over, but you will simply get through. And there is a major difference. So you have got to tear some things apart. You have got to dig some stuff up. You have got to get to the root of why you, especially if you don't want to go and attract the same dude, same lane, same game, different name. How many years are you going to walk in the relationship wilderness before you say, I need to do my work and ask myself the hard questions and answer them and then fix it? Because if you don't, you will simply go out and, as they say, get your new one and replace the old one. And that's all you're going to do. You're going to get you a new version of him. And if you don't want to keep doing that, you got to ask yourself the hard stuff. And after you ask yourself the hard stuff, and after you have, and see, that's what I do. I provide a community, right? I provide a community for you because if you don't do it by trying to do it by yourself is hard. Oftentimes you're too close to your stuff to be honest with yourself, but it's hard without some level of support or community. And so after you ask yourself these questions, right? Or after somebody, works with you and give you the tools and you get these questions answered, then you have got to increase your self-love. Because number one, if you increase your self-love and do it the right way, and I'm not talking about in the arrogant way, but I'm talking about in the real way, he won't be your type. I told you that. He won't be your type no more. Because some things we have to mature out of. Sometimes we have to mature out of needing to understand everything. Sometimes we have to mature out of needing closure. Sometimes we have to mature out of that relationship and understand that, you know what, that was for that time. It is not for such a time as this. He can't lead me properly. He can't appreciate my gift. When you have a certain type of calling, you got to have a certain type of person who understands your calling, not somebody who's going to be nagging and whining and mad because you had to go and serve the people. It takes a special person to be with somebody who serves others, because oftentimes they have to sacrifice some of their time. I'm not talking about all the time. You do have to balance it. But ultimately, when you have certain gifts and callings and when you have certain things that you have to do, you got to have a person that understands that. You can't have nobody that's insecure. So ultimately, you have got to increase your self-love so that you don't continue to meet the same person, so that you don't continue to do the same stuff. You are the first example of how to love you. We accept the love that we think we deserve. Not the love that we deserve, but the love that we think we deserve. People only follow your lead on how to treat you. So if you need to change the curriculum, it's okay to start today. So I just wanted to come and quickly give you 3 tidbits on how you can start to shift your aura. They are: number 1, you must cut off access. There's no way around it. You can't stay connected and be disconnected. That's confusion. And I told you in the last video that confusion does not present an atmosphere for healing. It just doesn't. Number 2, you have to break the curses. And I'm talking about going all the way back to childhood to find out, why do you feel like you need to sit at tables and be validated by marriage and be validated by this relationship? You got to answer the hard stuff. And after you answer those questions and get to the nitty gritty and get to the root of that thing and change the root of that thing, then you start to build. You cannot build on a terrible foundation. You cannot build on rotten roots. So once you get there and you pluck up those roots and you get some fresh ground down and you get some fresh seed in the ground, then you can start to water and build your self-love and self-esteem. Okay? So ultimately, that's what you can do. Now, I want you to go to bit.ly/ZM Linktree and grab the free Soul Ties teaching. Okay? That means I have given you the first step for free. And it's going to give you 7 ways to cut soul ties. Okay? This is the beginning of the healing process. This will also put you on the mailing list so that when I launch my master classes like unpacking mommy issues or unpacking daddy issues and things like that, and the membership and things of that nature, you will then be one of the first to know, because I launch it to my email community first. Okay? So I hope this has helped you, and I hope it answered your question about how to heal, or at least start to shift your aura from taken to available. If this did help you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. I want you to have a great day. You already know how. On purpose. God bless you.